Hey, Pretty Girl Club. So, one of you guys sent me this video of Cardi B talking about how she is good at marketing and how a lot of unambiguous women do not have the same marketing skills as her. And people are saying that she only succeeded, of course, due to racial ambiguity or light skin privilege. So, I do believe that if you have a fluid identity, it definitely can give you an advantage when it comes to your multicultural appeal. Okay, that's one of the advantages of being multicultural and multiracial, which Cardi B is. She speaks multiple languages, but I find it funny how people will say things like acknowledge your privilege, but if Cardi B would have got online and said, I'm more privileged than unambiguous black women, I'm more privileged than dark-skinned women, I'm way more privileged than the black community, if she would have said stuff like that, people would have crucified her on the internet. But when it comes to Cardi B's career, she is better at marketing herself as well as having a better marketing team than a lot of unambiguous black women such as Normani, etc. And I know that she didn't compare herself to Normani in that video, but one thing that I've noticed about the unambiguous black community is their lack of applying themselves because a lot of them have grown up under these victim narratives, or they've grown up being taught inferiority complexes by other unambiguous monoracial dark-skinned black women. And so a lot of these women do not apply themselves as much, whether that's in the industry or whether that's like in other areas. Not to mention the fact that most unambiguous black women, they support us, mixed race women, MLS women, multi-generationally mixed women. And I've talked about this before. It's because unambiguous monoracial dark-skinned black women, they don't want to represent themselves. They constantly beg others to represent them. They did this with Meg Thee Stallion. They did this with Nicki Minaj. They did this with Cardi B. So they tend to ignore women who look like them in favor of women who look like Cardi B. If you think about where Cardi B started in her career, she started off, I think it was on Love and Hip Hop or one of those types of shows. Who is the main audience of those shows? Who are the main people that watch those shows? Who are the main people that listen to Cardi B's music? Usually it's unambiguous monoracial dark-skinned black women. And that's because the women, it's funny because they will say that like unambiguous black men prop us up on a pedestal or they prop light-skinned women up on a pedestal. And yes, I think they do, but they don't want to admit that they themselves prop us up on a pedestal. They beg us to be their representation, or sometimes they will even bully us into being their representation. They will be disingenuous and say things like, you're not that light skinned, or you're not really mixed, or you're just black, or you look like a regular black woman. So they would say things like that and approximate us to them. And then they will turn around and get mad once we achieve fame or notoriety and status. And then they will say, well, you only got to where you are because of your skin tone. So they did this with Beyonce, calling Beyonce only black when we know for a fact that Beyonce is obviously multi-generationally mixed with a white passing mother, or at least her mother was white passing at one time. Even Beyonce's dad said that he thought that she was white. So to pretend like the average unambiguous dark-skinned black woman has a white passing mother, that's extremely disingenuous. And so I've noticed this pattern where they will consistently ignore their own phenotype. They will ignore people in the music industry who look too much like them. So they ignored Ari Lennox in favor of Chloe Bailey. They ignored Kelly Rowland in favor of Beyonce. They ignore other darker skinned, unambiguous female rappers in favor of Cardi B. So they're constantly standing us. They ignore other like unambiguous African musicians in favor of Tyla. So they do this all the time where they want to approximate themselves to us and for lack of better words, almost riding our coattails because they're hoping that the beauty that our phenotype has, they're hoping that the visibility that our phenotype has will somehow rub off onto them, or like they try to approximate themselves to us. And sometimes they will even brainwash us into thinking, oh, we're all the same, one drop rule or whatever. And then once these women go out and they become famous and successful like Cardi B, then suddenly they only got to where they are because of racial ambiguity. But it's like, you guys in the unambiguous community, you guys won't admit that we have racial ambiguity until after we succeed. A lot of people, this happens to everyday people, by the way, not just celebrities, but a lot of unambiguous people, they love to try to use humbling tactics on us. They will try to say things like, oh, well, my cousin's lighter than you, or you look just like my sister, you look just like my auntie, you look just like my cousin. So they will do things and say things to us to approximate us to them. And so for a lot of us, we will walk around thinking, oh, okay, we're all the same. We all have the same experience. We have similar features, similar family members. And so then when we actually become successful, then suddenly we are erasing them. And so this is one of the social climbing mistakes that I talk about all the time that unambiguous Black women make, that MLS women tend to not make, which is constantly begging others to be your representation. So if you beg others to be your representation, especially when those people look nothing like you, and then you prop those people up by listening to their music, by watching their Instagram, by talking about them on your YouTube channels, when you do that, you're actually increasing their fame. So the fact that Black women empowerment content creators are even discussing Cardi B, I would have never seen it. I would have never had the idea for this YouTube video had unambiguous content creators not made YouTube videos about this. So you're actually still increasing her fame even more by talking about her, by complaining about her, by having outrage over her. This is a typical reverse psychology marketing tactic that a lot of people are fantastic at, especially someone like Cardi B. She is fantastic at saying and doing controversial things and sparking outrage because it just makes her numbers go up. It makes her views go up. She was even talking in her video about how she gets 1 million views or 6 million views. And so unambiguous women are playing into her hand by responding and by making videos about her because she's getting free press. All attention is good attention, especially when you are talking about making money off of going viral and stuff. This is why I love when unambiguous content creators respond to this niche and why I do and say things to get a reaction, because that's going to help me to social climb on YouTube. And what a lot of them don't understand is that people like Cardi B, they are utilizing the outrage or, the reaction from the unambiguous community to prop themselves up. And also for the people who say that racial ambiguity is like what got you to where you are, or like you need to acknowledge your privilege, we get to pick and choose when we want to acknowledge privilege, when we don't want to acknowledge it. You can't control what other people do. So you can't control how Cardi B navigates through society. If she wants to embrace her fluid identity, then she can. So guess what? You guys set this up. Unambiguous, monoracial, dark-skinned Black men and women, they set themselves up for this by constantly throwing us in and out of Blackness, by trying to one-drop us all into the same group, just like how they tried to one-drop Barack Obama. They one-drop women like Beyonce or Rihanna, and they pretend that they all have the same life experiences as someone like Beyonce, Rihanna, or Cardi B. And so for us, we use that to our advantage. We utilize that fluid identity to build ourselves up and to succeed in this society that we live in, and we're not wrong for doing so. The bottom line is we live in a society where, it's run by things like capitalism. I do believe that desirability politics play into that. But what a lot of unambiguous women don't understand is when you wear hair that looks like Cardi B, when you're blasting Cardi B's music, when you are divesting so that you can have Hispanic men and then have babies that look like Cardi B, all of these things that you're doing are propping up Cardi B. You're propping up her phenotype. You're propping up my phenotype. When you ignore Normani's music in favor of Chloe Bailey or somebody else, when you ignore Kelly Rowland's music in favor of Beyonce, when you ignore unambiguous rappers in favor of Cardi B, when you tune in to shows like Love and Hip Hop, whoever garners the most attention and controversy on a show like that is going to attract more fame. And so by continuously talking about these women and creating YouTube videos in front of hundreds of thousands of subscribers, well, now you're helping her to gain Instagram followers, or, you're helping her to gain TikTok followers and stuff like that. And also when it comes to the whole privilege discourse, people are not required to acknowledge their privilege at every step, because the hypocritical thing that unambiguous women do is they will say, acknowledge your privilege. And then like when we acknowledge our privilege on this channel and talk about it and talk about stacking those privileges, then suddenly we're bragging and we're being narcissists and like we think we're better than others. And so you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. But guess what? Some of us don't care. Some of us are like Cardi B and we're like, hey, I'm good at marketing. And also just because someone happens to be more privileged than you, I feel like a lot of people, they don't want to admit when someone has more ambiguity and when they also are smarter. Cardi B is smart at marketing because she knows how to profit off of controversy. She knows how to profit from outrage. And a lot of unambiguous women, especially in the industry, do not know how to do that because I think a lot of them have grown up with like these inferiority complexes. If you don't believe me, go and watch any of the Black women empowerment content, go and watch how they talk about themselves. And, they make hundreds of thousands of videos talking about hating their skin tone, hating their 4C hair. The industry is racist. Everybody's racist. So yes, if you grew up or if you go into something automatically having a victim mindset, like everybody's going to be racist to me in Hollywood, I'm not going to be able to get as much of an opportunity as someone else, then yeah, you are less likely to apply yourself in comparison to someone who comes into it with more of an optimistic mindset. And also for the women who are saying that's not fair, that Cardi B is more famous than like unambiguous women, she needs to acknowledge her privilege. It's like, once again, my question to unambiguous women is, why are you begging an industry that you consider racist? Why are you begging them to represent you? Why are you begging them to pick you? It's giving pick me behavior, except this time you want to be picked by Hollywood. This time you want to be picked by the rap industry. And it's so funny because if that would have been a dark-skinned black woman, let's say it was a dark-skinned black woman behaving like Cardi B and she became famous just like Cardi B, you guys would turn around and say, she's making dark-skinned black women look bad. She's making us look trashy. She is promoting negative stereotypes of unambiguous women. So you guys will say, we don't want to be shown that way. We don't want to be shown in a degenerate way, which is fine. And then people respect that. But then guess what? There are some women who look more like me who decide, hey, I don't mind being a degenerate. I will make money off of my degeneracy. I will make money off of my ratchetness. And so then you turn around and get mad when you are not the representation of ratchetness. And it's like, which one is it? Do you want the ratchet crown that Cardi B has, or do you not want it? Do you want to be known for being a stripper and sex worker and arguing and fighting on TV and being in these reality shows like Cardi B is? Or do you not want that? Which one is it? Pick a struggle. Cardi B is using a tactic that I talk about on this YouTube channel all the time, which is dark femininity. So obviously those are horrible negative stereotypes, but Cardi B doesn't care. She knows how to utilize her own negative qualities, and she knows how to utilize negative stereotypes to her advantage. Unambiguous black women, they don't want to use negative stereotypes for obvious reasons, and they don't want to be seen as being ratchet and like fighting online and being known as like sex workers and ghetto and trashy and stuff. And so that's fine. But guess what? Sit in the audience, stay in Cardi B's comment section, and don't get mad. You should be happy that you don't have this ratchet crown that Cardi B is known for. You should be happy that you're not known for promoting 50-50 discourse, which is what Cardi B was just talking about a couple weeks ago. Shouldn't you guys be happy that you're not being represented this way? It reminds me of when unambiguous dark-skinned black women will say, we don't want to be shown in music videos like twerking and stuff like that because, it promotes negative stereotypes. And so then when rappers have a music video with like all light-skinned girls or they're Latin American or something, then suddenly it's, you're not representing us. And it's like, well, which one is it? Do you want the ratchet representation? Because Cardi B represents for the ratchets and she embraces that. So I'm not even saying it as a diss, but a part of utilizing your marketing skills is you don't care about negative stereotypes. You don't care about perpetuating negative stereotypes. And you also don't care about those negative stereotypes being attributed to yourself because at the end of the day, you're a millionaire. And that's the point that Cardi B is making. She's saying, look, I don't care about how ratchet you guys think I am, or like you guys think I'm not doing that great of a job, or that I only got here because of my phenotype. There are plenty of people with Cardi B's same phenotype who are not famous. There are plenty of people with Cardi B's phenotype who don't make as much money as her. There are plenty of people with her phenotype who did not have as much longevity in their careers as her. Think about all of the reality TV stars that attempted to get into the music industry and make it big. So Cardi B, you can't deny that she at least has some sort of skill. And in my opinion, her skill is using controversy to her advantage. That is one of the same skills that I like to use on this YouTube channel. And a lot of unambiguous women, they don't want to be attached to controversy, which is understandable. They don't want to be attached to these negative ratchet stereotypes and stuff, but then they turn around and get mad when somebody else is, and then they make money off of it. And so this is what I talk about when I say that opting out, it's not going to make the pedestal disappear. Somebody's going to need to be the representation for ratchetry. Like Hollywood, with the way Hollywood and all that is set up, people enjoy watching that. People enjoy watching ratchet stuff. Obviously, there's a market for it. And so just because you don't want to be on that ratchet girl pedestal, it doesn't mean that the pedestal is going to go away. Somebody else is going to come in and take that pedestal. Somebody else is going to come in and make that money. Someone else is going to come in and get all those Instagram followers and the brand deals that come with being ratchet. And that's what Cardi B is doing. That's what Natalie Nunn did. And then people will say, oh, well, Cardi B, she can get away with acting ratchet and trashy because of how she looks. Well, technically anybody can act ratchet or trashy. There is no rule book that says, oh, if you're a dark-skinned black woman, you are not allowed to act ratchet and trashy. No, if anything, other dark-skinned black women will come on and say, hey, you're being a bad representation for us. And so that's why you guys have no representation for the ratchets. It's because you guys are so concerned with being, I guess, with being seen as more classy or whatever, and that's fine. There's actually nothing wrong with that. But guess what? Here in our community, like the multi-generationally mixed women, the light-skinned women, obviously we don't care about being seen as ratchet. Look at Chrissy Rock. She doesn't care about that. She cares about her bags and her money. And so don't get mad that women with my phenotype know how to get their bags at all costs. I've noticed that for some unambiguous women, they're so scared of being negatively stereotyped to the point where they are not willing to do anything that plays into those negative stereotypes. And again, that's fine. But then don't get mad and jealous when somebody else is able to make millions of dollars playing into those negative stereotypes. And if you want Cardi B's fame to go down, if you want us to stop replacing you or being your representation, then stop replacing yourselves. Stop begging us to be your representation. You guys are currently trying to beg Meg Thee Stallion to be your representation. She already obviously said she doesn't want to. She calls herself a red bone. So she's representing for this community over here. She doesn't want to represent for unambiguous women. So step one would be to find women who actually look like you, who relate to you, and I mean look like you for real. And then, you can support those women. Or if you don't want that ratchet girl crown and the millions of dollars that come with it, well then you should be happy that Cardi B and my phenotype is being known for being ratchet or whatever. You should be glad that that's not your phenotype that is, currently trending in that area. But see the difference though, like with my community, with Cardi B being ratchet, I don't really care. I don't really mind. I support diversity in whatever form it comes in. So I understand that there are women who look like me, who also look like Cardi, who can relate to her. And so I don't look down on women who are, from the hood or they started off as sex workers and stuff. I don't look down on that. You guys, unambiguous monoracial dark-skinned black women, you guys do seem to look down on that due to your own history, I guess. I personally have never associated unambiguous women with automatically being ratchet, but if you guys feel like that's how you have been viewed in the past, then that's understandable that you don't want that type of representation. But then don't turn around and get mad when somebody else represents themselves that way and then they make millions of dollars out of it. You guys are right. There are not unambiguous women who are going out and playing into that stereotype. The only one I can think of is JT from the City Girls. I'm sure there are other girls out there who are, but maybe not on the same scale. So that's you guys' issue. If you guys want to have your ratchet representation, go for it, but don't get mad when somebody else like Cardi B comes out and then she's doing it better than you and she's social climbing better than you. Everything that Cardi B has is not a handout. It's not. Everything that Beyonce had was not a handout. And so, yes, their fluid identity can help them, but guess what? That's one of the privileges of being from that background. But also, just because someone was born with certain privileges, it doesn't mean that they have to turn around and acknowledge their privilege every 5 seconds. It doesn't mean they have to talk about their privilege every 5 seconds. Whenever we do try to acknowledge our privilege and say, hey, yeah, you're right, I get treated better because of my phenotype, then you guys say we're bragging, you say we're being conceited. It reminds me of Amandla Steinberg, where she said she didn't try out for that Wakanda movie because she wanted to give the opportunity to dark-skinned black women. Then you guys turned around and said, well, you wouldn't have got the role anyway. Okay, so then that is proof that you didn't care about her acknowledging her privilege. You guys would still verbally attack her anyway. So from Cardi B's perspective, her perspective is, you guys are going to verbally attack me anyway. No matter what I do, it's never going to be good enough for anyone. So how about I just do whatever the fuck I want and social climb however I want and make money off of it. And if you guys keep getting outraged, about it, I will continue to make money off of it. And it's working. It works every time. You've got people making Cardi B go viral right now, just like how Chrissy Rock was going viral because unambiguous women were talking about her and they're mad at her and they're making videos talking crap about her, not realizing that the way marketing works is you get paid off of controversy. Look at the Kardashians. They became even richer off of all of the controversy that is associated with them. You guys swear up and down that Cardi B is not that talented, not very interesting. She's not somebody you want to watch, but you guys tune into her. You guys are listening to her music. You're bumping her music and you're talking about her relationships. You guys are obsessed with light-skinned women's relationships. You're obsessed with women who date rappers and stuff like that. And then at the same time, you guys don't want to be seen as ratchet. You want to be seen as classy, and that's fine. But then don't get mad if here in our community, we decide, hey, we're just going to embrace diversity. So I want the ratchet representation. So even though I don't consider myself to be like Cardi B, I don't mind that Cardi B is being ratchet because I don't associate that with myself. The issue with unambiguous monoracial dark-skinned Black women is they externalize their identities. And so their personal identity is based on, what do white people think of me? What does the world think of me? What does Hollywood think of me? What do Black men think of me? So because they are obsessed with constantly having an external locus of control when it comes to their self-image and their self-perception, they get mad. They're living vicariously through other unambiguous women to the point where they wouldn't even let a dark-skinned Black woman go out and be like how Cardi B is. They would say she's a disgrace. They wouldn't listen to the music probably. They would say like she's a bad representation and she's like stereotyping dark-skinned Black women, and they would stop that woman from being able to succeed, basically, or they would just ignore her in favor of someone else. A lot of these women do not understand psychology, sociology, or economics. Okay, supply and demand, baby. There's a demand for ratchetry. There is a demand for shows like Love and Hip Hop. There's a demand for reality TV. There's a demand for sex workers who wear long nails and, do all that twerking and stuff. So there's a demand for it. So guess what? An MLS woman decided to come in and supply. So unambiguous women, you guys didn't want to supply that demand because you don't want to be seen as ratchet. That's fine. But somebody else came in and supplied it. And now you're mad that she is successful off of it. So which one is it? Do you want to be seen as the ratchet queen that Cardi B is, or do you not? And also when it comes to light-skinned women being more marketable, you guys support light-skinned women. You guys support light-skinned women more than you support dark-skinned women. You listen to Beyonce more, and then you turn around and complain she only got to where she is because of colorism. And you know damn well Beyonce is a better artist than Kelly Rowland. You guys complained about Chloe Bailey saying she got more views than Ari Lennox and more career stuff because she's light-skinned. And you know damn well that Chloe Bailey is a better singer, a better dancer, a better performer than Ari Lennox. You guys complain about all these light-skinned pop stars or rappers or whatever, and then you guys know damn well they put out more music than Normani and all these other women that you guys wanted to represent you. And then you guys continuously chase behind us. You guys live vicariously through us. You guys try to humble us by saying, well, you look just like me, or, you look like a regular Black woman. So then we will use that to our advantage because we're smart. So we will say, oh, okay, if I look unambiguous, okay, great. Then I will market myself that way, or I will continue to play into that culture since people want to one-drop me anyway, or since they want to approximate themselves to me. So you guys get mad. You guys hand us a fluid identity. You guys give us the fluid identity, especially light-skinned monoracial Black women. So I don't know if Glorilla, I don't know if she has mixture in her background or not, but I'm thinking of women like Glorilla or women who they have more African ancestry. So you guys will be like, oh, well, she's more Black than anything else. Okay, so then we're going to play that to our advantage. And then it's like, okay, unambiguous Black women, they don't want to be seen as ratchet and ghetto. Okay, I don't mind being seen as ratchet and ghetto. Let me come in and make this money. And that's what Cardi B is doing. And I fully support it. I fully support diversity when it comes to the light-skinned community. Even though I don't consider myself to be like Cardi B, I know that there are lots of other women who are. And the advantage that a lot of other women have is that we're not constantly trying to pander to white people. We're not constantly trying to pander to be seen as like more classy and stuff like that because we don't really externalize our identities as much as a lot of unambiguous women unfortunately do. I think the issue with the unambiguous community is the obsession with being seen as acceptable and desirable, whereas women like Cardi B say things like, fuck your desirability, fuck your standards, I can do what I want. I can wear long nails, I can wear ratchet lace fronts, I can get my lips done or get my boobs done or whatever, and I'm just going to embrace who I really am, including my negative qualities, which Cardi B has. She embraces her negative qualities. She will fight if she wants to fight. She will be ratchet if she wants to be ratchet. And a lot of unambiguous women do not do that. They try to pretend, I'm not jealous of anyone, I'm not angry, I'm not this, I'm not that. And that's fine, but just know that you guys are not going to have as much of a diverse collective image in comparison to multi-generationally mixed women like Cardi B. The problem that a lot of unambiguous women have in comparison to MGM women like Cardi B is that MGM women are more likely to be authentically themselves, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And they don't care about that. I've noticed that a lot of unambiguous women, they don't want people to see the bad part or the ugly part because they associate those parts of themselves with racism, discrimination, etc. And again, that's fine. If you don't want to be seen as ratchet, don't be seen as ratchet. But then don't get mad when somebody else doesn't mind being made fun of, doesn't mind being laughed at. Cardi B gets made fun of, laughed at, bullied all the time. But she doesn't mind. Unambiguous women, they tend to be more sensitive to bullying and stuff, which is fine. But then don't get mad that you don't have the crown, the ratchet crown, that Cardi B has. I thought you guys don't want to be seen as ratchet. Which one is it? Do you want to be seen as ratchet like Cardi B, or do you not? And also, for those of you who are saying, oh, well, Cardi B is a colorist, she said negative things towards unambiguous black women. Where's that energy for JT from the City Girls? JT from the City Girls talks about how she doesn't want women to be too crispy and stuff like that. She has called people burnt, and I don't see that same energy. So, once again, your hypocrisy is showing. And also, when unambiguous women say, we are the blueprint and, we're the queens or whatever, okay, then keep your position as being the blueprint or the queens and let us have the ratchet representation like Cardi B or whatever. And don't complain. I don't want to see anything about, well, she's more marketable. That's not fair. She's more marketable because of her phenotype. You guys talk all the time about how you don't want to be marketed in the way that Cardi B is marketed. Okay, so let her have it. Let Cardi B have it. She wants to be marketed as this sex worker girl who's hood and from the ghetto and all that. You guys don't want that representation. So that's fine. So then have a seat. Let Cardi B make her millions because she will continue to represent for the ghetto ratchet MGM women. And that's fine. And she doesn't give a fuck about being seen as trashy because she does not externalize her identity. She doesn't believe that by acting proper or, by somehow putting on this performative thing that she's going to somehow make more money. I've noticed that in the black community, like when it comes to the inferiority complexes that they teach you, they try to say you have to work twice as hard to be half as good, or you have to do all these things and code switch and do all this stuff just so you can survive, I guess. And if that's what you believe, that's fine. But guess what? Everybody doesn't believe that. I know I don't believe that. I don't give a fuck about what people say. I really don't. There are some areas where I might care, but I don't care in every single area. I've noticed that a lot of unambiguous mono women, they care too much about what everybody else thinks of them. And it's well, what do you think of yourself? What do you think of yourself? That's what's most important. Cardi B, what she thinks of herself is most important. And if she thinks that she is a better marketer or she thinks that she is smarter than a lot of the women who are competitors, is she wrong? Because technically she's got the numbers to show for it. She's got the clout to show for it. And you may not like her, but she doesn't care whether or not you like her because she knows you're still going to listen to her music. She knows you're still going to talk about her on your YouTube channels. She knows you're still going to be worried about her relationships or outraged over what she does. And she's going to go into those brand deals and say, hey, I just got 6 million views. The people who are paying Cardi B, all these Fashion Nova and all those people who are paying, they don't care how you got the views. They don't really care all the time how you got those numbers. They care about making money. And so for some people, especially in Hollywood, they will do whatever it takes to get the attention so that they can make the money. But you guys are too concerned with being seen as proper and classy and whatever, and that's fine, but then don't get mad when somebody else has the same success without being a good girl. Good girls don't always win. Nice girls don't always win. I know that society has lied to you and, your Eurocentric religions have lied to you and said that if you're just a good girl and if you're just, nice and classy and you code switch or whatever, that you're going to be successful. Cardi B is proof that that is false. And I actually believe that JT from the City Girls as well is proof that that's false. I believe JT could do the same things as Cardi B, but a lot of unambiguous women, they don't want that representation. So that's fine. Have a seat in Cardi B's comment section and allow her to continue to make the money moves that she talks about in her music. And that's it. Anyway, what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.